about dysglycemia. And blood sugar problems in America is not an epidemic, it is a pandemic. The CDC is saying that 1 out of 3 Americans are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. I mean, this is a catastrophe waiting to happen. It's not just a financial issue, it's a question of what's going to happen in this country in the next 20, 30 years. But let's talk about that. What is the problem there?
Well, I think that there's overwhelming evidence that it's linked to the diet, that the excess consumption of simple sugars is definitely one major factor. To a lesser degree, there may be infection as a factor as well, but I think that experts around the world would agree that the diet is a big player. One reason that the diet is such a player is not really clearly understood, and that is when you consume white flour and white sugar, it has been refined so the synergists, the cofactors, the essential transporters to use the energy that is residual in white sugar and white flour are not present. So your body has to donate these. Now when you eat a food like this, the body immediately responds by saying, whoa, I need more fuel to digest and handle this. So it's telling you when you eat the sugar, eat more. But you are unable to discern that it means eat more of something that would have the nutrients to metabolize that sugar or that white flour. This is a mystery to America for some reason. And it's not even biochemistry 1. I mean, it should be in nutrition 1. And as a result, you're going to notice for yourself, and the viewer will notice, that when you eat something sweet, you want to eat more. Unless that sweet was a fruit, a well-grown fruit, or something that came from a living source and it's whole and intact. One of the things that I've found so satisfying, although it's expensive, has been fig breads, where they actually dry figs and make them into a bread. And when you eat this, you need water because it's dried, and a very small amount is extremely satisfying. But again, you've taken a whole food which contains the synergists, cofactors, and essential transporters so that your body can metabolize it. And I think the tragedy of long-term white flour and white sugar consumption is seeing Americans that are so weak and frail. Their skin is transparent, their movement is restricted. There's so much loss of quality of life in the consumption of these pseudo foods. I really don't see them as a real food. In fact, in my radio broadcast for many years, I characterized white flour and white sugar as make-believe food, and when you eat it, the best you can have is make-believe health. And so it's a really good idea to stop eating it. The sad part is it's available everywhere, and it looks like this is what we should be eating. Well, in addition to the problems that exist for white flour and white sugar unto themselves, there's an issue of cooking. The Swiss have investigated and created an index called the leukocytosic index. A leukocyte is one measure of white cell immune response in the body. And they've shown that when you cook anything over the boiling point, which would be any kind of bread, any kind of cake, any kind of muffin, whether it had sugar in it or not, elicits an exponential increase in leukocytosic response. In other words, your immune system is saying, what are you doing here? This is, you shouldn't be eating this. This is a challenge to my body. And so most of the time when we eat white flour, it's bread, it's cake, it's cookies, and it's amazing. It tastes so good, but it's like kiss of death. And what I'd like to suggest is we can make these desserts and other things that taste great, but we don't need white flour. We don't need white sugar, and we certainly don't need 350-degree temperatures, which is the way most of these things are cooked. So it's more than just sugar. It's more than just white flour.